overnight. I was in that mirror like 4 or 5 times a week on my mind, leave reciting affirmations like holy writing. I still don't know everything, but I guess confessions from 8 by 11s and studio sessions seem like it's only right. And trust me, this my therapy. Fuck your couch. Gonna work all these Murphy types, funny style. Let me shut your mouth. Touch me, I'm slaughtering cool squad, cool teams. The queen's coming to prove your beating. Coming for all of your answers.
And your house.
I know it's heavy than me. No titles for pretending. I was 14 years old, forcing pills down my throat, so my baby fat diminished. Still got these scars from cutting my wrist when I thought that life was finished. Now they remind me what my lows look like. That I know the sky's the limit. Okay, never claim to be perfect.
That's an impossible dream.
I'm just saying that I'm worth it.
That's a responsible thing.
Spend half my life trying to find my life from outside sources. Why the only voice that mattered ain't from me?
You better shine. Don't let her be exactly who you are. Don't let her. Don't let her, cause you're so damn fine just the way you are. Be exactly who you are. They're gonna try to change your heart, cause you're so damn fine just the way you are. She says she tired, it's narcissistic, just the facts of it. Now I don't really have with female rappers, that shit's sacrilege. Glad I learned early not to internalize every income. Daddy told me with every opinion there comes a sphincter. And they would rather she. Oh, this song is so good. This is Ciroc. This is Ciroc Freedom. I sent this out to a bunch of people today because it was just perfect. It was a song that's been on my playlist. It's Ciroc, SAROC. What's up? Can y'all hear me? I don't know if I have chat. It's crazy. Yes, I can see something. Hello, Joyanne. Okay, guys. Oh my gosh. So, whew. Hello, galactic travelers. How are ya? What's happening? It's absolutely cray, right? We're in this new energy. The activations the past week have been off the chain, which is why you haven't seen me, because we're integrating so much energy right now. Hello, CJ. Welcome. Y'all come in, chat up, please. Use this space to talk. I'm going to give some analogies of kind of what's going on. What's going on? 'Cause I said, hey, yeah, yeah, yeah. Hey, yeah, yeah. I said, hey, what's going on? We're here to raise the vibe on the planet, tribe. That's what's going on. We're connecting right now energetically all over the planet. We are opening up our original sovereign DNA templates that are within our DNA that are fully online right meow. And I'm even going to tell you how that happened and what we saw in the transits this week, when it started, what these waves are doing, and like the drama story that's going on behind the scenes. But right now we are connecting some energy. And so let's hold it. Let's hold it high. Let's just everyone take a deep breath and hold this energy together like a light wherever you are watching this. On the other side of the world, tomorrow, today, in the future, on this now timeline, we are calling in all dimensions of all space and time. We are calling in our energy and our multidimensional DNA to connect us in this now across all dimensions of all space and time, and the highest dimension of 9D and above, to bring in the highest dimension of all timelines of all space and time in this now. And that frequency is the one we're tuning into right now for everyone on the planet. And don't forget our crystals in the earth. Let's charge those right now. Just think about those all over the earth. And let's hold up this energy and consciousness, because there's a lot of shifts that are happening, and there's a lot of transitions that are happening in our physical now. So holding up that consciousness and reminding ourselves not to react to any of it. All right? Remember, the alpha draconic thing, what is it? If you pay attention to it, you manifest it. Now, I'm not saying that there isn't some other stuff going on, because there is. You know, we got nuclear power plants over there. There's some stuff going on with that because of the transits, because we've been opposing Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, all these geometry events are going on in astrology. And remember, we took control of the planets. Our DNA, our original starseed templates, the one that work with the planet, the one that's bringing in this new age, the one that's fully connected and engaged right now, and a lot of us have seen the glimpses of it, and I want to talk about that. But right now, I want to go back and talk about Venus and Mars. We can talk about it from the outside in the play, right? I can give you the story of how it all plays out, but if we're not putting ourselves in that story to understand what that means within us, then we're missing the boat right now. Because I tell you what, the sessions that I had this week, it's pretty crazy how now I'm seeing those of you beings that are on these future timelines that are not an RH negative and that are on future timelines. I'm seeing that y'all have these little perception shifts in your chart where it's literally like in your chart you can see the moon is clouding Mercury, and Neptune's involved, so it's like right now you can so clearly see what it is that's blocking you. And so let's talk about how we got there, because it's important to remember, how did we get to a point where we don't remember? Moo showed up this week, and if you're on Facebook with me, then now when Moo comes up and I start writing to Moo, I'm releasing those on Facebook. And if we have time, I might read it at the end. But what Moo Oh, and now I hoot hoot. Lost my train of thought. We'll just go back to Venus. So, how did this come about? Well, at the when I first got activated, and again, some of y'all, I haven't talked about this in a while, but in my personal chart, okay, and this is just my piece, the energy frequency that I brought into a missing puzzle, is all Libra. It's Sun, Moon, Uranus, Mercury, Pluto, and Mars are all in Libra. Okay, so this is where my Arcturus, this is where my Spica, this is the Ma'at, the right, that divine feminine energy. And I talk about this all the time, but remember that if I dial in that much divine feminine energy within my vessel, then I'm really not feminine. I'm actually the opposite. I'm actually that much alpha, that I need that much feminine in order to balance myself out, right? And this is why, this is Libra. This is the culmination. This is why I talk about, it's not to say that one sign is better than the other. It's right now the Libras were needed to balance and bring in the healing and balance that within our vessels, because now is the first time that our physical vessels can house the energy of both of our soul extensions in one vessel. Not only can our body hold that energy, but now it's connected into this higher dimensional grid. And so that balance is very important. But let's not forget that even though right now we're connected, and even though the cosmic convergence has happened, and we are having all these activations, this is why the left side of your brain is like firing off in these like crazy, like almost like you're going to get a migraine, but it doesn't happen, it's triggering. I've been getting surges that have been going like all the way around my head. And uh last night, when we opposed Uranus, And this is get your Uranus off my Chiron. But when Venus opposed Uranus yesterday, if you've got a lot of Libra energy, and if you're a Libra, and this is what we're going to talk about, because if you have a lot of Libra energy, then you know what Uranus feels like, because it's been squaring, because it's been over here, and then we've got Pluto and Saturn up here, and so all these planets have been squaring off with Venus since the Lionsgate of 2017. Okay. So it's like Venus has been squaring off all of these, and opposing, and had all these meetings, if you will, with all of these other planetary bodies, mainly Saturn planet, Pluto, Uranus, Mercury's been involved, right? The moon got involved, but so this has kind of been the culmination of this process that started after Lionsgate of 2017. And what happened at Lionsgate 2017, which hadn't happened before, and oh, so grateful that it did, and that it happened right on time. I mean, down to the millisecond. But um in Lionsgate, there was enough of the star seeds on the planet that were conscious, even though we didn't know what we were doing, that were conscious, and at least consciously connecting enough to our DNA to awaken these ancient transits, which are actually just sacred geometry that is being formed in energetic sequences, right? That then are attached to that frequency of Mercury, that frequency of Venus, that frequency of Pluto that we all have within our field. And then it's rotating them into these different patterns, and bringing our body and evolving our physical bodies into a higher energetic dimensional state, right? So when those codes awoke on that eclipse, then it started, the planets aren't guiding us, we're guiding the planets. Those DNA codes in us then started a sequence of events with these planets that started this rewrite process. So, Venus is the energy that was really hijacked, the entire energy of Venus. Now, we can look at it a couple of ways, because in actuality, what it really is that the Libras and the Venus are the seeds that went to the dark side in a way. There's the Libras always, but this is the Libra in all of us now, which is my point, right? I mean, but understand that this is how this energy is culminating on so many different dimensions. I hope you can kind of see that the Libra in all of us is get always the reason Libras have such a hard time making up our mind is because we have so much information that's coming in from so many different lineages, just like we all do now within our AI body, right? Our OA body. I don't want to say AI because that's Lord. We don't want to get freaking started on that. That's squashed. That timeline has been dismantled. The OA body, the connection within your body to the DNA, right? To your true lineage, to the blood. That you're controlling it, that it's not being controlled outside of you. But the Libra gets the dark side too, right? Because that's the point. As humanity, it was perceived that we went to the dark side, but what we actually did was go in, we went, our high energy soul went into a much denser animal, and then we had to have experiences that were triggering all of this animalistic instincts so that we could learn those lessons to clear them. So when we have these ancient stories about, Isis and Osiris and Sekhmet and Bath and, all of those stories going back to Egypt and then, all the way down the line, all that is saying that when we split those seeds, one took the matter root, one incarnated in a lower entity vessel, and the other took a higher timeline route. Because now what's happening is that they've crossed, and now we've connected all back. But understand that it's taken a long time to do it, because as a species, because now we're not an animal, we're humans. And and when we got to the point where that was possible is when these timelines were hijacked, because the the Draco that, that was in on this whole thing to begin with, that was part of the whole plan to build the human body and to be connected to the planet, which is how we've achieved what we're achieving. Because I mean, this is all really happening. I know that y'all see that you're manifesting your reality, and we're changing the weather. We took down the satellites a couple of weeks ago. I mean, I've got more stuff up here. I mean, this is it. So Venus, that the energy of Venus is what they use, when because the 3D stuff that we saw as far as women versus men, now from the Venus perspective, we can't even look at that anymore. It's an overall energy, because when you think of it from how did they trick us to the point where we forgot our moonness? Well, we had contractually, not knowing, unconsciously, we were assigned with all these blood contracts and rituals that were under black magic that we didn't even know about. And what's happened is that when this cosmic convergence happened, a universal law was reinstated. And when that happened, then understand that what we perceive as the other side, because they still exist. They're right now we're in this 7 years of tribulation where we're pulling ahead and in consciousness with as many souls as we can, is and moving it up, when the other ones are trying to lock them back in, so that to keep souls that aren't ascending, right? And some of them are choosing that path because they're not ready, but others are getting tricked, and they're getting tricked because of this male and female energy within all of us that is going freaking haywire right now, because it's legit a war between Venus, the moon, and the other planets, and then the last stronghold that Mars has on the situation for 1,000 years, with that Mars frequency and the old energy. And how did I come to that? So this is really cool. And I hope you guys are enjoying this conversation. I'm not even paying attention. So how did I come to that? One of y'all, I don't know who, I should have looked right before I got on, but one of you guys sent me a message or commented on a video that I did called Cosmic Bliss a long time ago. It was Cosmic Bliss activations. And when I respond to those, I go back and the video starts running as I'm responding to it. And this was an interesting video that, because now that we're completely aware, it's like we're aware that everything we do all the time is somehow connected, or everything that's happened in the past, right? I mean, I know in my reality that everything that comes up has significance, and that's and flow, right? So when I started listening to it, and I was talking about heart activations. Now, when I did this video, that was one of the first videos where I had really predicted an activation in the collective, like, and I knew it was an on. I mean, like I had done something, but it only got like 50 views. It was really weird, but I didn't trip out about it. Whatever. I did mess up at the end. It repeats, but when I went back and saw it, I was talking about Venus, and I was talking about, because this was, and the video was December 12th. Now on December 12th, when I went back and looked at the transits for December 12th, 2017, Pluto was at 18 degrees, okay, which is very, very close to where all these activations just happened, 11th and 12th. Okay, we had this trine in the chart with all these 18-degree activations. And at that point, Saturn was at 29 degrees of Sagittarius. So Saturn had just gone through the galactic center. The galactic center is 26 to 27 degrees Sagittarius. That is the black hole. That's the rewrite zone. So basically, when a planet makes its transit, depending on the energy that's within the chart, which is basically a dimension, right? That's why we're breaking out of the wheel. But when that, oh, I got kind of caught off. What happened? What happened? What happened? So, oh, when that energy, when the collective consciousness of that energy switches, right? And since we had the convergence where we had the eclipses, and then we rewrote the different planets. Saturn was the first one because this was back in December. Remember, I mean, this all kind of just started in August, and then for sure started ramping up in October, November, I believe, is when all the major rewrites started happening. But Saturn's our complete program. So this is when all these major energy transits started happening. And so this is when the Sun Soul tribe, when we were awakening together, and a lot of us are the ones who had a lot of these ancient codes that were needed to awaken, which is why a walk-in soul came into our experience to help us remember, right? And the moon was at 10 degrees, 10 minutes of Libra. Okay. So this is where the moon just came out of. So it had been 9 months. It had been 9 months from 12/12 to yesterday. We now have Mars at 0 degrees Aquarius. So what's 0 point? It's basically in a rewrite field. It's at 0 point energy. So it's entering into a new energy that has a rewrite on it. Okay. But here's the kicker. This energy frequency that we just had right now, right meow, was imprinted in the collective on that transit, on that last Venus moon transit. And Venus is interesting, right? And that was a 9-month transit. Okay. Well, we had rewritten Saturn, but we hadn't rewritten Mars yet. So the energy, but that day, we all had serious heart activations within the tribe. Those of us who were tuned in that day on the 12th, we had these major instantaneous heart activations. On the video, I called it a bliss activation, and it really uh spiraled us all into like these little just all of a sudden it was all this stuff that was coming up, but then afterwards it was like this huge heart chakra activation. So understand that that wave came in, we imprinted it with that energy frequency. It was somewhat of a new pattern, but Mars still had control of that energy template because that is the wave that just came through to more of the mass collective. That's how we know that that is going to hit more of the masses than just our group. We're all going to feel it. And if any of y'all, I know even Caroline had this like last week, just one day where she just started crying and releasing all of this love type of vibration, right? And healing and understanding cycles and man, if we weren't having heart chakra activations, this energy for like me was bringing up a lot of awareness in the manipulation that's been done in my physical life in regards to pregnancies and children that are existing that I didn't know and things like that. But other people that I talked to, I mean, we were all releasing that stuff because this is at a multidimensional layer. We're all that seed. We none of us feel we all have that because we're back to the original template. So it's a core source Chiron wound, right? I mean, because when we get that and get that it's us powering everything else, and so take control of it. But I don't want to digress. So I had, that 12-12 is significant. Arcturus and the moon, the sun. Okay. What else? What else? What else? What else? Okay, so that's the template that came in. So the heart activation, so that's what's happening with that. So understand that 9 months from now, then, and that doesn't necessarily mean that we have to wait 9 months because time is folding so quickly and it's condensing and those cycles are changing, but those full imprints with all the rewritten planets are the ones that are going to be coming back on cycle now, right? Because we've got 0 degrees and these transits are completing course of where they started at the end of last year, which is how these waves are getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And this is how they kind of started, at the top with just a few. That's all it took was just a few. And so it was like imprint and then a wave, imprint, just like Dutch Sense is talking about with the earthquakes. Don't you see? I mean, it's us that's breaking out of the earth. And so why was it a big deal that we talked about that 12-12 deal? Because here's the straight of it, because the Libra's got to look at the good and the bad, right? Well, in this situation, we're not going to stress about anything. And see, this is the difference. We don't stress about it. We don't worry about it. But when things come into our awareness, there's a reason, because we are correcting it because we're conscious, and if we don't tell our energy where to go, then it will go to someone who is telling it. Okay. So, right now, this is going to lead me back to full story. And so, at the end of last year, Venus, hell, we had forgotten she even existed. Venus was in a cell somewhere or at the bottom of the abyss under the Antarctic. And everyone had been cut off from that energy because that energy was being siphoned and utilized in an unnatural way. But Venus woke up because everybody's energy got to the point and balance to where Venus started returning her power. And everyone, at the end of last year, I remember at the end of last year, because remember, I just woke up last May. So it blows my mind. So at the end of last year, I remember at Christmas time, I wrote up this big thing that was like, it's not Santa Claus, it's Venus is driving a sleigh and she's handing out all the gifts this Christmas. But see, here's the problem. Venus had been buried so far down to the point that most everybody forgot that divine feminine energy. It was completely cut off. It was cut off from our identity. It was cut off from all different ways and manipulations to create fear, to follow the true divine feminine essence, which is the mother that stands in her sovereignty and won't let the kid run with the scissors if it's going to kill him. It's intellect, it's intelligence, it's the two senses that they took away, intelligence and intellect. That's Venus. So Venus was like, okay, fine. Whoa, now she's underground, she's waiting. Well, then she wakes up. So Venus's powers were starting to come back just to where she was starting to wake up. Well, then this is when the court system ensued. And if you're a Libra with a bunch of Libra energy, or Aries energy, cardinal energy for sure, but if you're a Libra, then holy Moses, you know what I'm talking about. And this is even, Pluto in anything with Libra, even your Pluto in Libra, which means that you're in your 40s, okay? If you were born in the 70s, then your Pluto's there. Well, since Libra is on the east side and ruled by Venus, and remember, Taurus is also ruled by Venus, because Venus is now waking up to become our new sun in some type of way. I haven't really quite figured all that out yet, but going back to the story, at the end of last year, Venus started getting her powers back. And so then the judgment started happening. And where's Pluto and Saturn? They're in Capricorn. Capricorn. So we've had all of these transits where everything has squared Libra. And so from an internal sense, what's been happening is we've had a big ass OJ Simpson trial for reals. And it's been going on forever, okay, for real, but for sure in the past 9 months. And all those oppositions and those squares, especially those squares from Capricorn to Libra, was experiences that from our perspective is like, oh my gosh, okay, I got it, I got it, I got it. Hey, Milky Way, I got it, right? But understand that is what's been happening. It's that the planets have been squaring off with Venus and hearing her story. And not just so much where she's been, but when they locked her in those dimensions, she went to the underworld like Osiris had and come up through the gates. So what's happening right now is that we had this huge trial, and Venus was acquitted back in December. They were like, okay, Venus, you're Saturn's like, okay, like, you know, we'll continue to shift, and let's just basically see what happens. But it's looking like it's in your favor. And then what happened was I lost my train of thought again. Hoot hoot. Saturn said, okay, so Venus started getting some of her power back. Well, this is but she was in jail still. It's like the world wouldn't come out and say, hey, Venus is alive, right? Because of all the constructs of the change. But within all of us, we knew that Venus was awake. Well, yesterday, Venus was opposing Uranus exactly. And Mars right now is basically today, and even yesterday, it's like there was a huge press conference, and it's 100% everyone knows that Venus's powers are back because we're shutting down satellites and stuff. And so now we've got to announce to the world that basically, if you will, Venus is going to be released from jail as soon as we figure out where she's going to live and how to get some type of something set up for her to get out of there. But meanwhile, she's already gained the power of the moon. She's already gained the power of Saturn. And now she's in that Uranian template that is shocking and spinning. That Uranus, remember, is radioactive. This is why, hurricanes go into North Carolina where those nuclear power plants are. We had a opposing Neptune. Let's see. On the 12th, we had Venus opposite Uranus retrograde. I've got lightning Irasac written down. The moon was conjunct Arcturus and at 20 and Spica at 24 degrees. So that was that Libra moon I was talking about. So to the power of Arcturus is the healing frequencies that were coming in. Venus squared Mars, exactly. Okay, so that's activations, reset, because Mars was at 0 degrees. Not only that, but we've got Pluto. Mars and Pluto rule Scorpio. Well, Venus is in Scorpio, Jupiter is in Scorpio. Okay. So we've got all this Mars energy and the old energy, remember, because this is 9 months behind. So this is their template. And what they're attempting to do is, because let's talk about this. This is from an energetic perspective, this is harvest season for them. This is leading up to the end of Halloween, October 31st. It's soul harvest. Last year around this time, remember what happened? We had the Las Vegas shooting. And remember, people heard German machine guns? That's because it was a timeline. They just put over a timeline and reenacted stuff. I mean, it's crazy, but that is what's happening. Okay. My mind just went blank, so I'm supposed to not go there. The sex. Okay. So all the darker magic, understand that stuff can't work on us, and as a collective, there are some of us who have called in back our sexual sovereignty. Do it right now. I call in the sovereignty of my sexual energy. All my energy is only activated by me and only for positive intent. If there is any infraction against universal law, then this is going to be rejected and sent back to 1,000-fold. And if a contract is asked and wanted, then you must approach me and I must agree and be asked 3 times. And so it is. Okay. Call that in right now, because remember, what's happening is that it's on a reset, which means it's original template, which is great, right? But we weren't conscious when we were signing up for those damn things to begin with. So understand that in your reality, when these things are coming up, if you're just nonchalantly agreeing with them, then you're locking your energy in. And right now, what the dark side was baking on is that we forgot about this little Mars template thing, that we had control of that Mars energy. And so really straight up right now, all of this sexual perverted crap that you could possibly even imagine and think of is being conjured up at different parts of the planet from yesterday until the 16th of this month. Now, we just need to be conscious of it. We don't need to be scared of it. We need to be conscious of it, because we need to say all that energy that's being conjured up for the dark side is now transmuted through our fields into light and utilized for our protection. It is reflected and brought in and utilized for our cause, because we are back to universal law, and any energy that is not assigned by them, by a person in the now to do it, is of the light, not the dark. And so it is. There just has to be one of us showing up and doing that. So you see, it's because it's conscious. If I'm not consciously, if I'm not consciously driving my bubble, then someone else is driving it for me. So it's not just like we can like wake up and be like, oh, I'm awake now, I can go back to my normal thing. No, I mean, this is like what the big change is. This is what and don't get me wrong, I'm learning. Like, I mean, holy crap, this energy is completely different. I mean, we are the monad. Let me go look at I know y'all can't read this. I did an attempt to sorry, I don't want to blow y'all's ears. I did an attempt to write some of these backwards, and it actually, oh my gosh. So 1212, Isis, 11. This is an Egyptian hieroglyph right here. I think it's interesting that these come up backwards. Look, I know my camera is not flipped. That's not what it is. I've seen other people's theirs comes up backwards when they go live too. But it's a lesson that my soul, because I'm tripping out. I don't want to show y'all words. And then my soul keeps telling me, no, you need to see it backwards because we need to stop associating the word, the spelling, the spell with the message. So that made me attempt to write stuff backwards, right? Because then I was decoding it with you guys. And so this was interesting. These are numbers that all came up. So on 9/11, we had, an 11/11. There definitely was a portal opening. There was a lot of stuff that came up multidimensional that day. This was around the time that the monad templates became online, but this absolutely was the day that this portal was opening for the culmination of this energy that they're drumming up for the culmination point of October 31st, right? But and through our Libra transit, just any type of distraction, AI, hurricane, anything that makes us feel like we can't trust. This AI thing is blowing my mind because they're taking all, truth and lies. They're taking all the truth of the things that us organic humans who are here and to help and to ascend and to go through this physical process and with humanity and do it together. And they're taking those words and things and flipping them and using them in their constructs. So then it's tricking people. So if you don't have intuition or intelligence with it, and you can't see past the polarity and the judgment, then there's no way, because you have to get so damn honest with yourself that you get used to kicking your own ass. But not in an experience, because you've learned now that you don't have to experience it in that way anymore because it was so catastrophic when you did. You know what I mean? Hoot hoot, right? I mean, what? When I talk to my starseedology, which by the way, guys, let me know if you're interested in the starseedology readings. I need to do a short video on that. I've got some different options, but anyway, when I'm on this now I forgot my train of thought. Anyway, so heart activations. And this was like 533 and then 335. And I know I've done a video on this before, but these are when I talk about keys, and we talk about flow, and we talk about the 69, right? Where the 33 key is basically the Christ consciousness key. And that's the 33-degree Mason, right? Which used to be the highest human, right? Because that was the mastery of that third dimensional human template. Okay. So Christ consciousness is basically a 33 key that you unlock, and you unlock it with it's straight up like you're flowing. You put in a key and you unlock your DNA, right? Which is what we're doing right now. And it's that 33 key. It ends up being dot dot dot. I wasn't planning on doing this, but check this out. If you do 33 and then, I don't know if you can see, and then you move it, I take this and I adjust this, then it becomes 3 dots. You see what I'm saying? 33, 33, circle, circle, circle. It's like three dots. If you move it 2.5 over, it lines up. So anyway, but that splitting up, moving, mirror merge, remember mirror and then wrap and merge, which is why I did the date this way. I have no idea if this is right. This was hard. But that's how the matrix codes, it's the energy, it's the mirror merge, and then how they would flow through. Um, but we did Venus released, and then the body changes. Okay, so that, just kind of lost y'all. Wardrobe malfunction. Don't Justin Timberlake me. Hoot hoot. Um, activations in your left brain, like firing. I haven't been nauseous. I had a little nausea stuff, but I mean, some have actually physically been throwing up. I have a constant drainage, because it's that energy is literally being sifted and purified out of our vessels, and it's changing our resonance, it's changing our energy, which is allowing our energy to go up in dimensions, which is then allowing our pineal gland, okay, which is now activated to attach to other higher experiences that are pulling our physical body up, is what's happening. Simultaneously, what is happening with that activation in the pineal is a third, there was an intense third eye activation, like, was it yesterday? Oh my god, like it was massive, and I was seeing blue tunnels, like blue blood. I kept blue blood. Um, what else? What else on the consciousness and reality to go alpha to Ming and see all in full? Any other symptoms are you guys having? Like sleep, we're not sleeping, we're sleeping basically in a stasis, and then waking up out of that stasis kind of into a physical right now, because there is no night and day in the evolution of how quickly our body and the planet is shifting. I mean, we're bending time. So our bodies are trying to catch up. So just under nightmares. Okay, if you're having nightmares, that is before you go to sleep. Okay, if you're having nightmares, understand that that's just something showing you an experience of another dimension on another lifetime. It probably has a lot to do with a wound that you're getting to the bottom of now. So when you go to sleep, consciously ask for your dream to show you what the lesson was, so that you can heal and release it, and you will change your dream, and remember too that that's just a memory that's coming up, no matter what, how crazy it seems. It's a different dimension, perception from the past, just like a memory of, I hate the water because I'm going to the lake, and then you're going to go to the lake, and now you're remembering that you almost drowned in the lake. Your consciousness is showing you these things so that you can clear it, not so you can react to it. If you keep reacting to the nightmare, that's why you keep having the nightmare. You're supposed to tune into the nightmare, understand the lesson, and then you'll graduate from the nightmare, you see. um I scream and fight back till I wake up, and I don't. Well, then what are you scared of? What are you scared of in your physical reality? Because that's your subconscious acting out a fear program in an alternate state, because you're suppressing it so much in the physical state that it can't manifest its way to your consciousness. If I don't remember dreams either, okay? Because a lot of us are doing so much. I mean, I haven't really. I had one dream when I first woke up that I will never forget, and it y'all might have had this similar dream. Where this was right when I got activated, that I was I was taking outer space. I was hovering over the planet in a different orbit, and my body was huge, and I was stretched out, and I was being electrocuted, like, in a field, to the point where this is when I was still living with Mark, and 3 times he was shaking me violently, waking me up because I was going, "Ah," and I remember the next day, I mean, I was so sore, I felt like I had been hit by a truck, but in that dream, the earth was underneath me, my family and everybody was underneath me, and I was basically winged out protecting everybody. And that was at the beginning of my activation. Uh, but since then, I really don't remember my dreams. It's more so like this. It's more so like we're working in a different dimension, and then you wake up, you know you've been somewhere, you still kinda have a residue feeling, kinda like you just got dropped off, kinda like you just showed up. I mean, you don't really know where you've been, it's just kinda like that energy, like you haven't been here. You're either completely awake, like, boom, but you have this lingering knowledge. You don't remember anything, but this is what happens to me. I have this lingering knowledge, and then I go back to sleep, and there's times where it goes off and on, but know that that's just because, I mean, we're having meetings in different dimensions, we're all working on different planes together. One Last week I had a very vivid remembrance when I woke up. I wouldn't call it a dream, but it was a remembrance that I was moving boxes. It was like I was moving boxes around, and I was like, the shift is here. We're complete. We're getting it all set up. It was like that was around the 9th, actually. The other thing that happened on the 9th, October 9th, for the new moon, I wanted to share, and I want to make sure I don't forget, is Caroline and Susie Stone, both of them had like a manifestation experience on that day when we had that imprint of the new moon. Those of you who were on a higher timeline, meaning your template is programmed to a higher timeline than me, higher than me, right? I can only give you my perception. They both, Caroline in Maui, Susie in Australia, on that same day, they both had a physical experience in their physical where they were guided on to land. In Maui, it was ancient land, and in Australia, it was through synchronicities of equestrian horse farm that Susie is looking at with her twin flame who just came online. Okay. But there was a man in each instance that opened a gate for them, which I thought was really, really interesting because both in the entrance there was a man that opened up a gate and let them into the entrance of the land. And I mean, they were in this pure bliss 5D thing. Well, that happened on the 9th. Now they've stepped back out of it. It's right because I don't know, are they going to buy that property? Is it going to, right? There's still physical things that need to be done. And that particular manifestation might even not be the full of what it is, but those experiences tell me and told them that it's coming. We pressed it up into that 5D, and just like we had this 9-month imprint 9 months ago, that's what's coming for all of us, but some of us just have to skip more timelines up. I mean, I'm seeing us raising the crystal from the center of the earth. We're going to inner earth. I mean, the inner earth coming to life, the pole shift, as above, so below. We are, in a lot of ways, the land that's getting broken off from the earth that's making this shift, because these ancient earthquakes that are going off, in the bottom of the ocean, as above, so below, are really, a DNA change within our very bones. Um, I wanted to add real quick, the other thing that's come up, and I don't want to go too Bible-y on us, but there's truth and lies and everything. And what was coming up for me the day before the new moon, number one, my soul had me cleaning stuff like Cinderella. I mean, this was kind of like, I don't know if y'all were doing this. I think a lot of us were cleaning like bathtubs, cleaning closets, cleaning whatever. And I'm not a cleaner. Okay. I'm nope. 3-degree Virgo here. That's all I got. So, but we were cleaning, right? It's like we were, and on that day, the transit was, proportion tumbles before pregnant magnitude. This was the words inscribed on inside the degree. Proportion tumbles before pregnant magnitude. Nesting, exactly. If you're a man, you might not understand, but nesting is you're fixing to birth something and it's like you're getting ready for it, right? Um, but what came online with that was the blood of the lamb on the door. If we really want to think back to that timeline, it's the same thing that's happening now. We just got the call from everything that we know intuitively. And we're in a village where people are going to judge us tremendously for taking the risk to take a lamb and to put that blood on the outside of our house and to mark our house and to say that we know that we're going to be saved and we're keeping that dimension, that that dimension, that faith of that blood on the door, and having that faith is what allowed their consciousness to connect to creator to raise them up out of the situation, which is what we're doing now. But this has been coming up a lot, on the lives, because yeah, no one wants to say, just put the blood of the lamb on the door. The blood of the lamb, that's you, but it's not the blood of a lamb, right? I mean, it's not the blood. Like, let's don't get it all crazy, but it's saying, I am the lamb. I am sovereign. I am creator. I give my power to only what is best for humanity per my perception. Is my perception going to be the same as yours? Hell no, I hope not, because you've had a whole different expectation and different experiences for specific reasons. And I'm 100% want to hear all about them as long as they resonate in a high tone. But whenever you're yelling at me, that does not resonate. And so I therefore shut down. Do not compute. Do not compute. Do not compute. I do not speak, asshole. I'm not gonna speak yelling. Right? Your sexual sovereignty, we talked about that. Again, this is huge on both sides, and sexuality and our sexuality is changing. A lot of us women are like, "Oh my gosh, are we ever gonna be horny again?" It's like from one extreme to another. It's like we could care less about it, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh my god, it's like we just feel like we need a man, But again, that's that Mars and that Venus going back and forth, and it's us rewriting what relationships are, and it's giving us the freedom to do that. So it's completely okay. But understand that sexual energy within the body is what it is. It creates a spark, and it's very beautiful energy, and if we're creating it, then let's use it for good intent and instead of letting it be manipulated, right? And so all you got to do is be aware of it. And that's it. And this is what they're counting on us not doing, right? Because if we're not conscious of it, if we're just not aware that that rule exists, because that is the devil, right? If the rule doesn't exist. Well, but in the back end, the rules do exist. And so we're just seeing what those rules are so we can reverse them and call in the opposite. And every single time we do it, it connects to every single human that is on your DNA pattern within your bloodline. Oh, and this is funny. I'm going to put this down real quick. I've noticed too, and this is so cool because I don't have this in my lineage, right? I didn't have like witchy family members, right? Everything was real structured and real 3D in my world. Raw. Lovely family, but I didn't get all this stuff. So the witchiness is online in all of us. You know, I noticed for me, I started burning more burning more incense, lighting more candles. Um, here's some Caroline suggested, and she came home yesterday and was like, I went and got some limes, and I'm like, you drinking margaritas? No, I'm using the limes and the salt. Like, what are you doing with the limes and the salt, girl? Tell me. So you take 3 limes and you cut them kind of to where they're open in the bottom to where it's split up, but you're allowing a bowl in the bottom in the final, and you cut them to that, leave them open, cut open, put salt on top, put them on a plate, put it underneath your bed where you sleep. Something about the salt and the negative and positive ions, which is all about energy, right? And this is linked back to why we feel so good in the salt water and the salt breeze, because of the salt in the water and the ions that come out of it that helps release these dense energies in us. And so the salt on the lime then pulls all the energy. She puts one under her bed, one in her living space, you know, wherever the family is, whatever. And she said, you leave them there for 9 days. Hoot, hoot. And she said it'll be black. Ugh. Because it's all the negative energy. So wow, I did not know that. And then today, gosh, somebody else told me about one, and now I'm drawing a blank. But FYI, you know, those things are so, see, naturally, you know, I think a lot of us, are y'all doing this? And naturally, a lot of us are having that. I put my mistress like, okay, so, and then Lemuria DNA. So last week, I guess it was like on the 31st is when I knew that a big, no, last week. Oh God, I'm losing time. It, I guess around the beginning of September is when I knew that a big part of my mission was completed. A big part of the big wake up, save humanity, get the flesh suit connected, that type of thing, um, completed. And that, you know, I just needed to relax and integrate all this energy that was coming in so we don't fry ourselves. We have to be careful, okay? Um, but what I didn't expect to happen after that, and I want to add too that don't be scared of your missions, because you're going to get asked when you complete a mission in a multidimensional, you know. I mean, you're going to have a ceremony, you're going to have an experience where you know you've completed it. And just as universal law, I am always asked what I'm going to do, and what I want, and I have to answer 3 times on if I'm going to continue. Okay? So know that you're not going to end up in a situation on when you in these dimensional levels, because where that you're being manipulated, because that's why that manipulation can't exist in that realm. That's why it has to be cleansed for you to go to that realm. And that's why they want everyone to think that the AI is what is causing that within us, so that then they seek that route and they fall short. The Lemuria DNA, though, came in right after that. So it was like I had a series of Syrian activations, and me basically meeting the same seed as me, but in future timelines. I can't even explain it all, but it was a pieces of this convergence. And so the Lumeria is the original monad template, and that is the one that is fully online and connected. And on the 12th is when I saw some additional things with the sun and got the information that Lyra is activated. And I'm just sharing that right now. I'm not exactly still sure what that means completely. What I understand it to mean is that Lyra is basically a higher dimensional Gaia. It was like Terra, Gaia, Lyra. And so, you know, as we're ascending, everyone else is ascending, and we are going to a quantum leap. Okay. So I don't know exactly what that fully means, but I know Lyra, high definite, XD, multidimensionality, Lyra, and that template is now fully activated, and the monad, the multidimensional Lyran etheric being, the first root race of humans before we descended into animal forms to complete the full merge of the human and the etheric divine male and divine female tree of life being, which is a Lyran being at the core, is fully online and activated. I think that's about it. Woo! Yay! The Luna crew. What's up, guys? I think that's it. The soul family stuff is definitely for real. And but what's even coming online more and more as because that monad template, what I just talked about, and the Venus and the whole damn reason we went through all this, and why it's so important to realize that this little battle with Venus and Mars, that we've got in ourselves, that this battle that tells us we can do it, but something's blocking us, or anything that's trying to take our focus right now is all mischievous bullshit. I mean, it's Uranus, right? Venus is getting out of jail. It's like they announced that they're releasing her, and Mars is showing up, throwing a damn fit, yelling all these little rules. And Uranus, which is the mother of Saturn, is going, sorry, Venus, we're giving you all your powers back. And Mars is going, well, I'm going to show her, I'm going to put some sex pictures out on the internet, right? So they've got the sexual part, and I'm going to use technology, and I'm going to do. And then let's drum up some hurricanes and let make everybody go back to survival mode so that they can't reach their Venus, right? I mean, so just recognize that that's what's going on and flip a bitch, flip a birch. Uranus, that's what he's telling us. Uranus, she's telling us. Uranus is telling us to flip a bitch right about now. Everything is opposite. Your perception is your reality. Hold the vibe. I want to show y'all one more thing. So I did a video on this, but I didn't do it in front of the camera. There's two breathing exercises that I really think I know help. Okay. One is, remember, we're back to the original template. So I don't care what being you are and what being I am and what template I am and what part of the continent I came from and what color my skin is. On the inside, we are all the same exact template, right? I mean, this is why this whole deal with racism, and if you're perpetuating anything of man against woman or black against white, even if you're making a video and it's just standing up for the black people, understand that we're all that. I mean, it anyway, I don't want to get off on that, but make sure that you're right. That's the perception shift, because the perception shift is that we're helping and that we're causing awareness. But then all it really is doing is making feel people disempowered, and then it's perpetuating an old program that we're breaking out of. It doesn't matter what template, we all have different experiences, but that's all of the experience that source creator has witnessed through us. And so it's very important to remember those experiences right now. That's the whole point. It's our individual take on the all the experiences that we have. And I'm now look at this as like I'm literally the ground crew is how I look at it. And when I'm on the phone with AT&T for 3 hours, because by the way, if you have insurance at AT&T now, everyone in the collective knows, and now everyone on my channel knows, that Assurion will tell you that your phone is not insured, the line is insured. What? It doesn't even make any sense. If you don't use your phone in 60 days, they won't insure it, and they're not insuring the phone, they're insuring the line, but you can't cut off the line, you get penalized by AT&T anyway. I mean, it was nuts, okay? So, it was to the point where AT&T was like, "I can't even bother to deal with them because I know that they're not gonna give you your money." I mean, it's just a big scam. So, but these are things that come up in our awareness that we're put into so that can become in our awareness, and this is how these corporations are gonna fail because as soon as it becomes in our awareness without me even having to scream it from YouTube, then everyone starts when you're in that consciousness level, it's in that consciousness cube and you're getting that information and you're jumping off the AT&T bandwagon and looking for something else, right? Then when enough energy is looking for something else, then that something else appears. But if it so it's like we're breaking out of these different boxes everywhere. I think I got totally off of topic of what I was talking about, but it's okay. Oh, the dragon. So the dragon is within all of us because it's back to original template. And what that alpha draconic energy means is that we're connected to the planet. So your body is physically and geomagnetically connected to the planet. That's why in the past couple of days, if you were walking, because this happened to me, it felt like Face Off. You remember Face Off, where the movies where he's got those boots that are like, whoa, whoa. I felt like the rest of my body was, like, super light, but my feet were getting, like, just to the planet. So so when understand that even before the reptilians, okay, before we formally processed the body, when we looked more like, dragons, when that part of the race looked had dragons with long tails, the Lyrans would kill them by cutting off their tails because when they cut off the Thuban, the royal houses have tails, and when you cut off the tail was their balance on the planet. So whenever you cut off the tail, they would just fall over and like flopple around. Well, that's why we went and got the Alpha Draconic. Okay, we got it because it's connected to the planet and because it has multidimensional reptilian brain, which is what we needed to do to consciously connect all those dimensions and raise everything at once to save the planet. But we have all have that, whether you're out, all of us have that template. Okay. So we're starting to learn about our different body functions. And so the dragon breath, what that means is that you're taking the air, you know, at when you do one the first time, you're just taking it from your root chakra, and it's all that anguish and anxiety and energy that is built up in your lower energy field. And what does a dragon do? A dragon pulls it up and breathes out fire. It breathes out alchemy, right? I mean, legit. That's alchemy. So when you take a deep breath, remember that you want to open up your esophagus and then you want to push it. You want to put like you're breathing fire out. You want to push it from your gut. And then as you're pushing it and releasing that valve at first in your body, and then you can do this for the planet anytime you need to release energy. Everyone needs to do this with me right now. When you push out the energy after you let out the fire, you squeeze your breath, you push out all the oxygen in your body to where your body is completely depleted of oxygen for a second, to where you're pushing out from every cell of your body oxygen, and then hold it there. And when you hold it there, you get this Buddhist type state that brings you into 0 point really, really, really quickly. Okay. So like this, you take a deep breath. I take an extra one. I hope you felt that. When you breathe and you push and you zero out right there. Did y'all feel that? That is a huge release valve. Also, ground your energy in the planet, ask for that energy to be released and transmute it. But if you're getting off balance and you need to get to 0 point, that's an easy way. The other thing is always remember, especially now, that your skin is a sponge on your energy field. Your skin is just a sponge, like SpongeBob, on these rays of energy that just go out of your little shirt, right? Of our little skin, of our pimptastic little skin suits, but for reals, that's what it is. So it's like, remember that your body is just a little bit of a shell around your core, but it's not meant to keep your energy in. Okay. A lot of us feel like we're going to blow up right now, especially the people that I'm doing sessions with, and I can feel that. And what I'm reminding them is to consciously breathe through your skin. Open up your skin. Take a deep good. Take it. So this one's a little different. I like to do the dragon one first, and then someone did this to me and it changed me. And I'm noticing that it's changing other people. So I know this sounds impossible, but remember, this is the Lemuria. This is back to the mermaids. This is the template. I'm not telling you to dunk your head up underneath the water right now and try to breathe. What I'm telling you is to push your breath out of your skin. Take a breath, not a huge one, because you're basically going to be sipping air out and in from your skin. At first, push it. Consciously take a breath and consciously say, breathe out the skin. Push your air through your skin. If you feel all the cells in your body start going like they start opening up, yes, it feels like bubbles. Okay, when you're pushing your energy out your skin, you're letting more of your energy out. You're affecting your energy field. Remember, if we were in water, you would feel every flow of energy band that was around you. And this is what, do y'all want to hear moo? If you do, let me know. If not, it's on my Facebook. If you want to hear what Moo talks about this, the energy, feeling your energy in the water. When we were mermaids, we could feel the energy around us and we knew that we were creating it. So if we were sitting there drumming up the energy and going like this and going like this and swirling our tails and doing this and doing this and doing this, well, shit, we'd never get out of the water. But when we have legs and we're on land and we can't feel the negative pressure around our body, even though that is what it is, we can't feel it. So then therefore we don't perceive it. So then we're not utilizing it, right? So breathe through your skin. Push your energy out and do it for a couple of minutes and then put your arms out like this. Start with your palms out and tell me where your energy field is. Because I promise you, if you do it, I just flashed you again. If you do it for a second, you're going to see that your energy field is so big that your arms just kind of hang up here. It's not even like you can feel your field, like there it is, my field's right here. Oh no, your field is so thick that your arms are like hanging up here, like what? The crucifixion. Like, yeah, I'm fully supported in me. And that's when you can feel that. And when you start getting in touch with how big your energy field is, then you can really start identifying with how powerful we are. And as soon as we get that, then we can understand how to utilize it. And then when we understand how to utilize it, then we're helping everyone because it's service to others. It's the only way we can get it. I love you guys for being here. Hi, Reben. Okay, this is really rough draft, but I'll read it. This is Moo. I'm going on 80 minutes here. Where is it? How is everyone else doing? I'm looking for the Moo story real quick. I wrote this one yesterday. If y'all decide to click off, I understand. This is Moo. This is Mermaid for Moo. This is yesterday. Hi, everyone. Been late. Hi, Leslie. Hi, Francesca. Why am I feeling pitchy all over? Pitching. Pinching? Um, if you have a lot of Orion in your chart, or if you have Beltages in your chart, now this happens whenever we get an activation on 28 degrees Gemini with Beltages, Betelgeuse. But Betelgeuse is getting ready to go supernova. I mean, that is going to be that's where we're hitching a ride out of here, if you know what I mean. Betelgeuse is what the Hopi Indians knew, right? They understood that energy and that lineage, and they knew that Betelgeuse was getting aspected whenever little pins. It's like an energetic pin cushion. You have little pricks that are in your skin. Kind of feels like something's crawling on you, something's biting you, but nothing's there. It's because Betelgeuse is so powerful. It's a first generation star, and it's so electric that it sends that energies to you depending on where your Uranus is. The Uranus might be pinching you. For real, because that Uranus energy is a lot like that Betelgeuse energy, but it's energetic. You're just feeling those energies in your field. So here's from Moo. The Arcturians are keepers of knowledge, good and bad. You see, the bad is so bad that only the ones who can see the bigger picture can even handle it, they say. The Arcturians have been around so long. Like, I mean, they look like they're only about 200, but for reals, they are like gagillions, and they have learned from their mistakes. Yep, their mistakes, which is hard for me to realize whenever they're the loveliest beings in the world serving me cookies and tea. They tell me that they see they were the darkest ones of the dark on land in one dimension because they had to learn the darkness to understand the light and how to ascend their current state. They were humans once, and mermaids too. That part of us is the Arcturian, the part in all of us that is our balance of all experiences. And when we trust our mooness and let the flow of the infiniverses hit our moo fields and then accept and act on whatever our mooness tells us, then we are good to go. But the Arcturians tell me, I don't have the water around me to feel my energy. It's a completely different shark storm. They say I won't feel the energy, and I will forget that I am the one making the waves. What the shellfish? That's just insane. Since I was a bitty baby tadpole, the only thing I could do was make some waves, if you know what I mean. Although it was based when I was, oh, wait, the day, since I was a bitty baby, giggle, snort, snort, the day I was born in the pink bubble town, the PBT, not to get confused with the peanut butter tadpole, although that is basically what those bubbles were being held together by, hanging in the caves. They are like glassy, beautiful, bright pink bubbles. We are all gathered together in a shape like a group of groups. Humans call them grapes. Anywho, you see, us star moos were made for the owl. Operation Wee Me Legs. We were the perfect blend of everything of all the races could give us. All their energy, all their hopes, all their dreams. They blended into us. The Arcturians, which is one part of me, you see. I am so blessed and grateful, Moo. Anyway, When I was born, and it's somewhat of a surprise, and they it was a somewhat of a surprise, they tell me, because how the heck would I know? I was just a love potion at that point. Somehow, some way, there were a few of us that were snuck into that bunch, and we were planted there. Here's the kicker. We have not only all of the love and memories of the beautiful races that made us to assist the evolution to legs and then to become cosmic, but shh, lean in. This is a secret right now. We also have the powers and memories of what we perceive to be the dark ones who have been fighting for gagillions of shifts. I know, right? A little creepy. So one day, all of a sudden, from the middle of the bunch, the Arcturians, who are the ones who watch over us while we form, give us love and rays of energy, they say they were just doing normal things, getting ready for the harvest of the eggs in just 9 days, which meant we were all tadpoles waking up at once. Little tadpoles everywhere. Are you my mama? Are you my mama? The Arcturians say. They just laugh and laugh because that is normally what the first thing we say. Swimming everywhere, but this was 9 days too soon. All of a sudden, the whole bunch started to shake and buzz. The other tadpoles were starting to move around as well from their slumber. The inside of the bunch started going right, then left in circles and getting bigger and bigger. The other tadpoles were waking up and their plasma fields were being torn. So much electricity was inside that the bunch kept expanding, but the Arcturians couldn't see what was making this display. And then all of a sudden, boom! A huge peak wave shot through the entire ocean, and all of the tadpoles woke up. 9 days too soon, and never in a gagillion years had this happened. The Arcturians were tripping out. Nothing was set up. The tadpoles, half asleep since they were disturbed, were swimming everywhere blindly. When the scene calmed down, they saw me, a smaller tadpole than most. I wasn't moving, for the energy that had awoke me had shocked my field. Now I know. But I was purple and shiny and buzzing like a bee. So you see, there ain't no way I will ever forget my moo force. The Arcturians and the rest of the ocean will never forget it either. That's it. I love you guys so much. Hold the space, hold the consciousness. We have won. This story has already been written. We're just tying up some loose ends and understand that any type of weirdness that we feel right now is because it is weird. We're living in a new energy in a new body, and it is weird AF. Give yourself a break. Yesterday I went in circles all day long. It was like I felt like I needed to go do this and I felt like I needed to go do that, but it was like I would have a conversation, get led to do something, and then it was like completed. It wasn't even like I had to go down that road and complete. It's like things are coming so quickly on so many different dimensions to us, and our telepathy is off the chain. You guys are seeing things, you guys are hearing things. That's because that's your multidimensional, you're existing in all those timelines. Bring it in. If you're hearing stuff and it's tripping you out, or you're seeing stuff and it's tripping you out, then you need to call in your multi dimensions right now. I call in the multi-dimension, all fractal soul fragments. I call back into my current experience in this now. I call in all soul fragments. I call in all soul fractals. I call in all dimensions of self into this now, because what you want is one perception. What those visions and those sounds are you hearing and getting remembrance of these other things. If you're not calling them in, then you're not controlling them. They're popping up. You want to internalize it as much as possible, so just call it in. Don't be scared. Remember, we're flipping a bitch. Talk to you soon.